They say the deepest cuts come from the ones who should love you most. This is a story about a betrayal that deep, about a boy thrown into darkness by his own blood. But it is also about how the darkest pits can be the training ground for the highest palaces. This is the story of Joseph. Joseph was 17 and he was a dreamer. God gave him visions of his future, of his older brothers bowing down to him. But when he shared them, their jealousy, already simmering, turned venomous. They hated him for his dreams, and they hated him for the magnificent coat their father gave him, a symbol of his favor. One day they saw their chance. They seized him, tore that coat from his back, and threw him into a pit to die. But one of them suggested a crueler fate. Let's sell him. And so they did. For 20 pieces of silver, they sold their brother into slavery. They returned to their father with a lie, presenting the blood-soaked coat, and let him believe his favorite son was dead. The old man's grief was absolute. Meanwhile, Joseph was dragged to Egypt. But the story doesn't end there, because the Bible says the Lord was with Joseph. Even as a slave in the house of a powerful official named Potiphar, he excelled. He was so blessed that Potiphar put him in charge of everything he owned, from the pit to a position of power. But the climb was not over. When he rejected the advances of Potiphar's wife, she accused him of assault. And just like that, his world collapsed again. He was thrown into the royal prison. Imagine the despair. Betrayed by his brothers, forgotten in a foreign land, and now rotting in a dungeon for a crime he didn't commit. But even there, in the darkness, God had not left him. The prison warden saw the divine favor on Joseph and put him in charge of the other inmates. It was there he interpreted the dreams of Pharaoh's baker and cupbearer, predicting their fates with perfect accuracy. Still, 2 more years passed. He was forgotten, until Pharaoh himself was tormented by dreams nobody could understand. The cupbearer finally remembered the Hebrew in the dungeon. Joseph was summoned. Standing before the most powerful man on earth, he said, "It is not in me. God will give Pharaoh a favorable answer." He explained the dreams. 7 years of incredible abundance followed by 7 years of devastating famine. He laid out a plan to save the nation. Pharaoh, stunned by his wisdom, declared, "Can we find a man like this, in whom is the Spirit of God?" And in a single moment, Joseph was transformed, from prisoner to prime minister of Egypt, second only to Pharaoh. The famine came. The storehouses were full. And one day, 10 starving men from Canaan came begging for grain. His brothers. They bowed before him, their faces to the ground, just as he had dreamed so many years ago. They had no idea who he was. After testing their hearts, Joseph could bear it no longer. He wept, and through his tears he revealed himself. "I am Joseph, your brother, whom you sold into Egypt." They were paralyzed with fear. But then he spoke the words that echo through eternity. "Do not be distressed, for God sent me before you to preserve life. As for you, you meant evil against me, but God meant it for good." The betrayal, the slavery, the prison, every moment of suffering was a step in God's incredible rescue plan. It's a powerful reminder that even when human hands deal the most painful wounds, God's hands are weaving a masterpiece of redemption. Thanks for watching, and watch out for the next episode. Subscribe and share.